Hello, this is J.King, self-made millionaire, coming to you from MillionairePennyStocks.com. And today, these were the plays today. We sent out an alert. We shorted this at 328. TVIX is my typical play. I play this stock a lot. I'm looking for the volatile spread, the day range. You can see that it found a lot of resistance at 332. So a great short was around 328, 329, 330. And you could have covered pretty much wherever you need to cover. I covered a little bit too early on this trade, but you know my motto is better safe than sorry. But also too, congrats on this play. Congrats to Steve. He shorted ODP, this Office Depot play. He found out about some negative information, which guys you can find out about negative catalysts, or if you get like a negative press release. You can play the trade based on the negative information, but also to remember, always look at the price action. That's one thing I primarily do. I really don't look at balance sheets much, and I'm not really into speculation or news unless I believe it's beneficial and it reflects the price action of the trade. But this was a wonderful short. On the other day, this stock had a lot of volume. It wasn't really much price action, but it found a lot of resistance in the high 370s, around 368. And so this was a wonderful short on today. And so congrats to Steve. He took his profit. I believe he shorted at around 360, 365 and covered at 322, somewhere around there. But congrats, Steve. That's a wonderful trade. And E-Trade, I believe, had shares to short on ODP. They also had shares to short on TVIX. And my other play today was Twitter. Twitter found a lot of resistance at 1468, and this would have been a wonderful short. Now let me say this, I want to give you some wisdom. Anytime you're shorting stocks like this and you have a small account, I'm trading now with over 100,000 in one account, and then another account I trade with about 35,000. Then another account I trade with about 7,000. And one of the reasons I'm trading out of a small account is because I want to show a lot of my new students how to make small trades and build up an account. My other account that I have, which is a IRA, a brokerage account, I trade with about 975,000, right under $1 million, and I use that for my retirement account. I normally don't trade out of that as much, but typically I like trading with 30,000 or 100,000, and because I find myself not using the money anyway, so it's really a waste of time to have a lot of money in a brokerage account if you're going to be making small trades, unless you're disciplined enough to keep that money in your account. If you're trading with $1 million, you need to act like you're trading with 50,000. If you're trading with $10,000, you need to act like you're trading with 2 or 3 grand. And as you gain more experience, you'll understand what I mean by that. And that develops a lot of discipline, and it helps you to learn to minimize your risk and maximize your profit. But again, on this particular trade, the mindset was, if you could have shorted in the high 1460s, or the mid 1450s, this would have been a good short. And keep in mind, when you're shorting stock, you don't have to short a lot of shares. You can short anywhere from 300 to 500 shares. Some people would have chose to short 200 shares. If you would have shorted 300 shares, I mean, this play probably would have cost you $2,000 or $3,000. That's not a lot of money. And so you could have covered and got about a 40 to 50 cent spread on this particular trade, and made about $100 to $200. It was a really easy play. Also, too, on this particular short, same thing. You could have shorted 500 shares at 330, and that would only cost you roughly I'll say right at about $1,500, $1,400. Not a lot at all. And so keep in mind, when you're shorting stock, you don't have to short a lot of shares, especially if there's a volatile spread between the price. And this is the whole key to growing a small account, is learning your risk reward ratio. You have to determine what you're willing to lose on a trade. That's very important. You're managing your risk is more important than taking profit. I'm gonna repeat that again. Managing your risk is more important than taking profit. So when you go into a trade, set up a goal, set up a system. You should know, entering into a trade, how much you're willing to minimize and how much you're willing to maximize. So for instance, I think I only shorted 800 shares on this particular trade at 328, and I covered entirely way too early at about 322, 323. I wasn't really even focusing on really profit. I was just trying to train some students. I had a private session today. 3 people came over, and I was just showing them how to maximize and minimize their gains and their losses. And it's so important, when someone's teaching you about trading, one of the most important things you can learn is to trade with skill and discipline, and just learn to manage your risk. Many people want to talk about profits, but in order to bring balance to your portfolio, you're going to have to talk about managing your risk. Risk management is very important, and that's what I focus on. Sometimes I'm a little too cognizant about that, but I believe the reason why is because I've experienced humility. The market will humble you in many different ways. As a young trader, I experienced catastrophic losses because I didn't understand how to minimize my risk. Now, I made a lot of money, and we can get hyped about how much money I made as a young 20-year-old trader. But the reality of it is if you're going to really bring balance to the minds of people and bring balance to their psychology, they need to know that they have to learn to manage their risk in trading. There's times that you will have to cut losses and enter out of trades. And there's other times that you can break even or make just 20, 30, 40 bucks, but you're trying to minimize your risk. The trade's not going right. So even though you're not going to make a lot of money, there's times that you need to enter out of a trade, even though you're not going to lose any money, but it's just a short gain, maybe 30, 40, 50 bucks. Don't worry about that. Just be concerned about educating yourself and making sure that you're trading with skill and with discipline. So again, congrats on these 2 trades, actually 3 trades. I actually dip bought Twitter today. I believe it was about 700 or 800 shares. I dip bought this at about 1409, and I was hoping for it to get back up to about 1430, 1440. And as I was training 3 of my students today, I showed them how when I entered into this trade at 1409, that I ended up selling at 1413 because it could not break that key level of resistance. And so I wasn't concerned about making a profit. I was just concerned about following my number 1 rule. If you enter into a trade, you dip buy the trade at 1409, and you're trying to get a 20 to 30 cent spread, and it looks like it's not working for you, then guess what you do? You exit out of the trade. What do we talk about? Your entry points and your exit points. And so when you enter into a trade, it's very important when you enter in. You should enter into a trade, you should enter in with the goals. You should have goals in mind. You already should know how many shares you're going to purchase. You should know what your risk management philosophy is entering into that trade. If I enter into a trade at $14 and let's say I buy 1,000 shares and it drops to $13.95, I already know that I'm going to sell because I only want to risk $50 on this particular trade. And so this is the risk management that I'm talking about that helps you become a successful trader. When you stick with these rules and you learn to be conscious of your risk reward ratio, and you have a philosophy for your risk and you also have a philosophy for your rewards. What I mean by that is you know how much money you're willing to lose on each trade, and then you learn to maximize your profit. If you can get a 20, 30, 40 cents upside on trades, take your profit. The market is shaky, it's ridiculous. You don't want to get greedy. You want to maximize those profits because you're not going to get rich on just one trade. It's going to be several trades that cause you to be successful. If you trade 500 times and you make 200 bucks on 500 trades, which you're going to have to actually make about 600 or 700 trades to make about 500 trades and make 200 bucks off of, but that's 100,000 in profits. So that's why we try to teach people to take profits and move to the next trade, because trading is a skill and it's also a business. And if you're going to be profitable in trading, your success comes from making a multiplicity of trades. It doesn't come from just trying to sit around at the computer and watch one stock for 17 hours hoping and wishing that it's going to go up and you can make $5,000 or $10,000. That's not a good trading. That's not a good skill set to develop. So again, this is J.King, Self-Made Millionaire, coming to you from MillionairePennyStocks.com. Congrats for those of you that shorted. A couple of my students shorted Twitter in the 1450 range. That was a wonderful play. Twitter hasn't been able to really break 1475, so this has been the key levels of resistance. And also to ODP, the shorting of this particular stock. E-Trade had shares to short. Also, E-Trade had shares to short for this wonderful play right here. We shorted this. Several students shorted this at in the 320 ranges. So you guys are getting it, and I appreciate you for studying, and I appreciate you for your support. Again, this is J.King, Self-Made Millionaire, coming to you from MillionairePennyStocks.com. Continue to listen to the video lessons and continue to read my blogs. Have a great day.